Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you a new set that you can't even buy yet. It's coming out next month, but I was so excited about it. It's called Here Together, and it says, I promise love changes everything. Every act of kindness changes the world. We'll get through this together and you matter to me. And there's the pinky swear and then the heart hands. So I did one of each one. I'm going to put that aside. Of course, it also comes with a Here For You dies set. I have to tell you, this is only as long as supplies last. So when it goes on sale next month, if you're interested in getting the dies along with the cutting plates or the cutting dies, it also has You Matter to Me, which I'll die cut something and show to you, and then also Here For You. So not even having to necessarily use these dies to get what you want done. So this is the only thing that will not be available forever. Again, it's just as long as supplies last. It does come with some really cool paper. You don't even have to stamp. You can just cut this in half and color it. Lots of black and white images. I'm going to use two different ones that you can either color these or not. You can do anything you want with them, but they're pretty standard. And of course you can use them with other things as well. Supplies for today, we're going to use Memento Black. I've pre-stamped these just to save some time, and I used crumb cake. So that's already been stamped. As you can see, I never do one of anything. I did a bunch of them. I'm only going to color one of them to show you. And this is the finished product. Now I'm going to step away and so we can have some magic and have these all cut out for you. Okay, I'm back and now I'm going to show you the results. First of all, I cut out the section for this one, and I cut out this one. I think I already said this, but this is a stamped in crumb cake. I'm going to color those in. I wanted you to see what this actually looks like. I guess I'll do it over here because some of the pieces need to be popped out. Let's see, get that going. They're really quite clever, and if you want, they can like take up the whole thing. I dropped that on purpose like that. That makes them come out. This has got pretty elaborate skinny pieces, so it comes out very easily when you poke at them, but some of them did require poking. So as you could see on something black, that could be an entire card, which we're not using today, but I wanted you to see it because it's part of that set. And I won't take up any more time to use this one, but here's a Here For You. So I'm just going to set those aside. I'll set all of this aside in my two hands so I don't lose them. Two sets of hands, rather. Get rid of the mess. And then we'll talk about how we color these. Stampin' Up's come up with 5 new sets of skin tones, I guess you'd call them. So I happen to be using a combination, you know, kind of like my skin color. But they vary from lighter than this to darker than this. And those will also be out next month. When you color with blends, you definitely need something underneath it. Just so that it doesn't, so they're not, you know, so that it doesn't go through. So I'm using one that I already had, which is Ivory. Ivory, Bronze, and the Color Lifter were already out. So, and a lot of people were just using that in the peach colors or the pinky colors to do skin. These are much more accurate. The new ones that they came out, they've marked them basically SU 700, 800, 900, 1000, and it goes on because there's 5 different sets. So if this is 900, 1000 is darker, and it was a little darker than what I wanted. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll talk about how I color again. I usually start either, it doesn't really matter, light or dark. Just know which one you're using. I'm using the darker one right now. So I'm doing along the edges. I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of shadow, not being real careful. I am not an artist. Some people may cringe at the way I color, and that's okay. I'm happy with the results. Sometimes I have to, I think I reversed these. Yeah, I did. That's okay. Sometimes, you know, I have to go back and fudge it a little bit, or I'm not as happy with the coloring. If I'm trying to do a piece of artistic work, I'm a lot more careful. I'm not filling this in because I started with the lighter color instead of the darker. So I'm going to go back and blend it in. But anyway, so the point is that because this is alcohol markers, even if they've dried and you've moved on, you can come back, and as you color it, it wets it again, and that's how you get the blending. And you'll notice I'm making kind of a mess here. Don't overthink it at the beginning. Let it settle. Like you can see here, it's lighter in the middle, but you don't really see lines. So before I get too involved in that, I'm going to move on and come back. This is the lighter color, right? Because they're not part of the set. Yeah, because they're not part of the set, I didn't remember because it's new. But anyway, as you can see, I'm just coloring. I'm not going to finish this one because I'm just going to make the one card, because you can see they're made the same way, just with a little bit of a different saying. I'm going to let that sit, and yes, I know it's going to be dried, and later on I'll come back and I'll do more with that, because again, when the alcohol inks get wet again, it gives you time to blend. And again, I'm going to let that sit because I want the color to blend a little bit more, and I won't know how that blends until after it's settled down. The other fun thing I did was I put nail polish on her. No, it's Poppy. I want real red. Sorry, I didn't have this one out. So I gave her nail polish. If it's a guy, you probably wouldn't do that. If you were trying to make guy fingers, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm giving her little bits of nail polish, and then I'll give that a second to dry. I'll move these off. And then I took Wink of Stella, which is just a clear, but it gave it a little bit of sparkle. I'll lift up the finished product. I don't know how well it'll show on camera, but it really shows up in real life, and it's really cute, the sparkly nail polish. So anyway, moving on. So that's how I did the coloring, etc. Next, I'm going to give you the dimensions, but it'll all be in the blog. So the smaller white sheet of paper is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. The real red is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. The DSP is a 5 1/4 by 4, and this one's a side folded card. Some of them are top fold. You can make it however you like. I just wanted to give a couple of tips on the stamping. Whenever I'm doing words, I use scrap paper that's lined. It could be cubed or squared graph paper or whatever you have. Just make sure that you're lining it up squared. Then I place these where I think I want them, and I stamp it on this spare paper, unless of course the marker's in the way or the holder's in the way. And I see if that's straight. And it is. It's very straight. And I kept it on here because I was doing a bunch of them. Plus, I wanted to show you. And this is also straight. It goes up and then comes back down. So you have to kind of be aware of that. And the reason I do that is because then when I stamp it on the basic white cardstock, and I'll put this in the middle this time, it's going to stamp straight. So that's just a little tip. I have a lot of these little pieces of scrap paper that I cut up from a notebook, and I use them all the time, and that way I get nice straight words. And then because I'm showing you about this whole little thing, I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, and I'm going to take, what did I do with that? Well, maybe I won't do that. I was going to show you how, oh, there it is, duh. So I leave this on this board, just like this. It's one of the ones that come with it. And then I have another one that is also lined up. And until I'm done the project, whether it's multiples for myself, as you can see, I've already verified that this is straight. So that way I can just put it back on here and go ahead and stamp it. I'll do it one more time. So I like my writing dark when I'm using black. And so that one's all set as well. So we'll put that aside. I'm gonna stick this in here, get rid of that for you. Put the cover on. So now I have my two pieces that I'm gonna be adding the hands to. This one I used in the center. You know, whether you cut this off or add to it, or I'm just going to add a little bit before. And you'll notice I do a little bit of streaking, and that helps with the blending. Again, don't freak out at the first. If you don't like it, you do it some more. If you want less, if you went, oh shoot, that's too dark, then what you would do is use the color lifter. It's looks just like one of the Stampin' Blends, and when you color on it, it actually removes color, so you can lighten things. It won't take it off the page. Now you have to let that dry. I'll show you that in a minute. It won't take black off a page, but it will certainly lighten it. Anything, you know, that you don't want as dark as, and then you can go back and color it if you want. The key to using blends, I think, is give it time in between to dry. You re-wet it when you start coloring again. So it's not the same as using a marker. Alcohol blends are their own little thing. So I'm just gonna take these off. And I am actually mailing some of these out, so I tend to use a little bit more of the dimensionals than you would think were necessary. And more evenly across also helps with the crushingness of the mail. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to put this away. I'm not going to make this card. I'll show you what it looks like again. We're going to put this on the red. Turn this over. Oops, I think I'm out of the spot. And now this is a very small border, which was intentional. So you have to make sure it's cut straight. I noticed a little bit of black. That's what happens when I'm filming, because I want everything around. I try to not do that. I think I've mentioned this before. These are called sand erasers. This one's by Tombow. And you can actually remove ink from your card. You kind of go in a little bit of a circle, wipe it off, see where you're at. And sometimes, I mean, like I said, this is black. I can certainly, it's right on the edge. I can certainly make it less noticeable. It's almost gone now. And there you go. Unless you knew it was there, you wouldn't know it was there. So that comes in handy, especially if you're klutzy like I am sometimes. Then we go ahead and we do this. Put this on the black. I left a bigger border about this one. I wanted the starkness of the black. It's not quite square, which is why I love the ink. I mean the glue that can be moved. But because of the geometrics, I wanted you to see it without, you know, it looking like a tiny little square. And then this one will be a more narrow border. Again, the name of the set is called Here Together. The dies will become available next month, beginning of February. And they are only until supplies last. So that's a very important point. You need to remember that part. I think that's all I need to tell you about. If you don't have a demonstrator and you don't have catalogs and you would like to have a catalog, please contact me. Whoops. My blog is stampmesilly.com. My email address is jandufour@yahoo.com. And if you wish to order any of these supplies, my store is at jandufour.stampinup.net. I hope you enjoyed this little project. Again, I'll show you both versions of it. I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks that I did. And if you have any questions, let me know via email. If you would, please, if you watched this video, please comment below and let me know if you liked it, what you didn't like about it, if there's anything else you'd like to see. I'd be more than happy to accommodate that. Thanks a lot. Bye.